It is the Riot on RadioU.
Did everybody have a good weekend?
You guys, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on the podcast, but we're all about to fall apart.
Do you think so?
I do.
One of us is trying to hold it together, and I think you are
not
expecting it to fall apart.
Bubblegum in a dish. How many wishes do you wish? You are not
fine.
it.
I don't think I put that off this morning. I think you're radiating you think it's all over with.
No. See, that's the thing is I'm always radiating some garbage.
So they're used to that?
On the other hand, just these little cracks where like...
But what are my cracks from you?
From me?
From you.
Why am I causing cracks?
I wouldn't have known about the Mayan thing.
That's not what's bothering you. You can't fool me. That's not it. You know, we were in here. Here's what I caught. Nikki, I want you to know you're good at this job. Mm-hmm. You're really good at it. I appreciate you. You're in here every day making it happen. And I'm not even being sarcastic. You're a shining example for how to continue through our circumstances.
Okay, all right.
That's real.
Thank you very much.
Not just saying that either,
I just know that Obi doesn't want to go back in the hole, which is what you're going to hear a lot this morning.
Does anybody want to? So I'm just the voice of the people.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Strong. So take whatever you get from the show, the podcast this morning. So
here's the deal. Tomorrow our fundraiser starts. If you get this on Monday or Tuesday of this week, we actually have got a matching thing happening. It's technically Match Tuesday, but it's still counting for Monday. We've got a group of listeners that have come together, put together a $15,000 challenge. So
think about helping.
If you're going to give and support RadioU in this podcast, this is a great way to do it. So please make sure you put that you're a podcast listener in the comment section with you when you donate. It's always so nice to see, and we want to make sure we recognize our podcast listeners. So we'll have a bit of a change for the rest of the podcast for this week. A couple of new things, but some Worst of Riots built into it. So you'll still get a podcast each day, but it will be a little bit of a collection of both. Did you know that 1 in 10 podcast listeners, not us, but this was a statistic that I saw over the weekend, that if you have like a Patreon or a whatever, if you ask people to support your podcast, 1 in 10. Oh, we'll do that? Yeah. Oh, wow. So let's beat the national average, people. Yeah, that's a little bit more than that. So make sure you say in the comments, like, yes, I'm a podcast listener. You guys are always so supportive, and we really do appreciate that. So in today's podcast, we talked to Mike Mains and the Branches about their brand new song. There's that. We talk about movies getting moved around, maybe going kayaking, sleeping through the PC gaming show, Apple Kit Kats, Mayan calendars. It's real. Apple pie Kit Kats. What did I say? Apple Kit Kats. Yes. I'm doing great. It's fine. I sneezed and had a bloody nose today. That's not in the show. It didn't make it into the podcast? No, I didn't feel like it needed to. Talk about listening, thinking. Under Armour masks, Governor Cuomo. He's going to tell you where to go. In the hole. Back in your hole. Which is where that's coming from. Yeah. All right, let's just let the podcast start now. All right, that's probably for the best. Okay, thank you guys for listening. I really... It's fine. It's the beginning of the end, people. It's all going down on Saturday. It's just great. Get your sheet cake now. You go get some water. It's the Riot. Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to the Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on RadioU. Apparently something happened on Nikkis Island this weekend that was... apparently it was pretty rough. What do you mean? Well, I heard that somebody got a hold of your Switch and was playing your character on Animal Crossing. Oh, how'd you hear that? I told you. A little bird flew from the island. I did. I had a friend who took my island over most of the weekend. And it was fine. I think it was. We had a little issue. Now I know what you're saying. Okay, now wait a minute. It was fine is not most of the weekend. I heard. Most of the weekend was, but there was a little miscommunication as to, I think they were trying to sell off my items that I was storing. And we had to talk about that you can't go selling my stuff. And outside of that, it was fine. I forgot about that. I heard it was pretty intense. No, well, I mean, to anyone who's not in the island thing, I'm sure they thought that.
but otherwise it was fine. You don't know how hard it is to get iron, okay? It was so hard.
That's what I've actually seen the memes that mean nothing to me. So
Except
I had to
the iron part?
I had to look them up because I'm like, okay, now obviously this means something. What does it mean? And so apparently iron is very difficult to come by.
And that was one of we weren't sure if they were all gone, but they're not. They're fine. We just, had to make sure. It was bad. I was like, not the iron. That's all I care about. Don't.
What? Iron's a common metal. It's everywhere.
It's not. It's hard to find, and they want so much. So that was the important part.
Have you had any more visitors aside from that one?
No, I kept it pretty closed over the weekend. I was just trying to, get things. I got some new people on the island, just trying to get things going.
Oh, so you got some new islanders that are living there now?
Yeah, some residents and stuff. So we're just working on making it pretty because I kept going to so many people's, you guys, the listeners, would invite me to your island, and it was so impressive. And then I'd go back to mine. It's like, well, we need to work on this. So
is that what the iron was for? Is that what you need to build buildings?
Not buildings, but you do need iron for some stuff.
Like what? What do you need it for?
Well, to build certain things, but not buildings. So,
I'm sorry. So what do you want to build that you need the iron for?
Just decorations. Everybody has all these, like carnivals, and their houses are like mini rooms. It's just a lot of stuff.
Okay.
A lot of stuff, furniture, things like that. Keep it pretty bare. So we had to go back and work on that.
On my island are many rooms. If it were not so, I would not have told you.
No, their houses have mini rooms too, and I'm showering in the same room as the bed. Like I gotta expand.
What, you're tiny housing it.
I'm tiny housing it. I am. I need more space.
It's fantastic. The shower is the toilet, which is the sink. It's no big deal.
It's perfectly fine. So I'm storing a lot of stuff until I grow.
Okay.
That's why I was worried a lot of that stuff went away. It's like, no way, we're saving it for later. We are.
It's fine.
But it was good.
There's nothing quite like somebody getting your save. I think we've all encountered that. That's why you almost, at some point, you have to learn, like, listen, you can play my game, but you don't play my save.
It's different.
Like, you don't play my character. You don't play... Oof.
So that person knows that they stepped a little bit too far over, but we're good. Otherwise, they, did a lot of the hard work over the weekend.
Well, Nikki, we all have to learn that at some point.
We do. And we stay friends, though. It doesn't affect that.
It's fine.
Just don't touch the iron.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
Nikki, movies are coming back.
Yes, even though there were some shuffles on Friday and Saturday that they were saying for the fall season.
Yeah, so I didn't even know this was a thing. Did you know that King Kong versus Godzilla was supposed to be out in November?
I didn't know it was this year. No, I knew it was a thing, but just not when it was supposed to come out.
Me too. I knew that movie existed and was coming. The last Godzilla movie didn't do as well as the first one did. They really, really need you to like the other one because they spent, when they were releasing that one, they were pretty much done with the other one.
Yeah.
So they need all that money back, guys. So send your donations care of King Kong versus Godzilla to Warner Brothers. One Hollywood way.
Is this the only, Godzilla movie against another monster who's a monster in a monster movie? Instead of going against, Mothra.
Right.
Which is a Godzilla one.
Yeah.
Is this...
You're saying King Kong
outside,
is a non-Godzilla monster. Yes.
Yeah, but has its own monster series of movies.
Right. So they bought up, I don't know, licensed whatever. They got all this stuff under one umbrella.
If they went well enough, they were supposed to do other Godzilla versus a particular monster movie.
Nikki's right. It was like, we're just going to keep cranking out these movies and you're going to keep giving us your money. Like Marvel. You guys like Marvel, right? It's the same thing.
So are they going to keep it in November or are they going to move it?
No. That just got bumped into May of next year.
Sure.
They just moved up the James Bond movie, No Time to Die. It just took Godzilla's spot, which is really only a couple of days earlier. That's going to be November 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that I said would bring me back to theaters, Tenet, which is the Christopher Nolan movie. That was supposed to be July 17th, I think, or 16th. And they just moved that back to July 30th.
Yeah, they moved it 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks back on that one. It doesn't mean it's not happening.
I think Black Widow got pushed a little bit of time.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and then one other got pushed a few weeks. Okay. Not until next year, but pushed a few weeks.
Okay. Well, it's fine. I got no...
There's nothing else. There's no other big deal. We'll wait. We'll just wait and see.
Ooh, you know what? I'll tell you what. That actually reminds me. Let me tell you in a minute, like, what I was looking at this weekend. Because we're saying, like, we don't have anything to do this summer. Remember how we're taking a vacation?
Yeah.
I looked at an option this weekend.
You found something?
I want to float it past you.
So I wonder if Tenet moving 2 weeks, the movie Tenet. Tenet was supposed to be the big back to theaters movie. If
for
that
me,
means
anyway.
Theaters need 2 more weeks to get ready.
Could be.
Which then that way it'll have a bigger opening because there'll be more theaters more widely open by then.
Well, you know what, Nikki? It's hard on movie theaters. They've never cleaned before.
That is actually true.
This
is the first time for them.
Many of them are learning what, cleaning is.
For the very first time.
They're just like, yeah, it's dirty. Turn the lights down a little darker.
So it seems like you're going to have to wait 2 weeks past when you thought you could start going and seeing new movies in theaters.
I mean, you don't think those floors just get sticky on their own, right?
No, that took years of work.
They get sticky. They stay sticky.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, here was my idea.
Yeah.
What about me going to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and going kayaking?
Yeah, I think you should. Didn't we talk about that maybe being something you wanted to do last year?
Yes. There was only one small detail that is in the way of me going to the UP.
The flies?
To go to the KYK. No, it's not time yet. They say it's not fly time yet. So that, I still got a little while.
Okay. Is it the kayak?
No. It's the price tag.
To buy the kayaks or to rent the kayaks?
To rent them.
Well, you got to go buy your own.
Right. That's not cheap either.
But it might be actually cheaper.
It might be. Okay, I looked into this. Do you take a stab at how much you think it would be per person
per day
to grab a... No. This would just be if you took one of the kayaking tours.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit more. So, I mean, I could just rent a kayak and just whatever.
But if you want to take the tour?
Yeah.
So how many days of the tour or just one tour?
3 hours.
Oh, a 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
Isn't that from that old TV show?
Yep.
It's $150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start...
That's insurance. You're paying for that.
I think he's probably right.
You know, it's a lot of the
trip
behind the
itself
scenes.
Is $25.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's $150 plus tax. Plus tax. What?
So you gonna borrow some kayaks and go up?
From who?
You can do. I have a kayak. It's Eric's, but
see right there. Now it's not yours. It's Eric's. Then I got to transport it.
Yeah, I mean, you just put it on the roof of your car.
Yeah.
Inflatable kayaks are actually a thing.
I know. I can see why.
You could do that.
They're difficult to transport.
Yeah, you just blow it up when you get there.
Yeah. It's not good.
You want to go kayaking for sure, or can you do something else?
Well, this one thing I found was I thought a pretty interesting take was you go up there and it's 3 days, 3 nights. You stay in a, can't remember what it's called, but it's like a thing on the beach, but it's not a tent.
Hut? A yurt? It is like a yurt?
Yeah.
Some one of those things?
It's a yurt. You stay in a yurt and then, what is that? Never even heard of one until yesterday.
It's just a hut.
Yeah. So you go to the yurt hut and then you spend 1 day you kayak and then the next day you canoe through the Hiawatha National Forest.
Well, this sounds actually a lot of fun.
I think it sounds like fun. It's so expensive.
Well, I mean, it's paying for the park as well.
I'll just tell you. Well, here's the...
What did you think it was going to be?
I don't know.
It sounds fun. Fun equals expensive.
I'll just tell you this, that each one of these options that I've thrown out at you, more than the cruise I'm taking.
Well, I mean, that's what the cruise. That's going to be pretty cheap for a while. These are very cheap. This is the...
I'm just telling you that it becomes hard to where I'm like, okay, no, wait a minute. You're telling me I'm going on the Love Boat for 4 days where I'm just going, it's going to be a constant...
With airfare, it's still cheaper than that trip?
Okay.
Or airfare aside?
Airfare aside, if you throw in airfare, it's just Slightly more.
Oh, well.
Slightly more.
Grab some inflatables. Just blow them up when you get there.
Okay. All right.
Go tubing. You're like, listen, I can't afford the kayaking tour, but what can we do with tubes?
Yeah. The internet is tubes, Nikki. It's a series of tubes.
It's not that.
It's not that.
Sounds fun, though. Don't say no. Just keep working.
I'm continuing to look at it. But do you think, I can have fun in a kayak, right?
Yes, you can.
Sure
can you barter with them? Is that the starting off point?
I will make you a 30-second commercial spot with my voice.
Obadiah and Nikki tried their hardest, and that's what really matters. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
It was Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Nikki, and I was ready for the PC Gaming Show.
Oh, that's what you set a reminder for. Oh, yeah. Aren't you guys excited?
Yeah. The whole thing is that E3 is not happening this week, the Electronics Entertainment Expo. Normally, all the game companies line up and they show you all their cool video game stuff. It is, in a lot of ways, the reason that we saw the PlayStation 5 last week. And so this was something that was, again, scheduled to happen around this time as well. And it was supposed to be, and I don't know, over 50 games revealed, et cetera, et cetera.
I do feel kind of weird. I thought, wouldn't that have been during a weekday? Or why did they make it Saturday?
I think they put it on a Saturday because...
they think more people would tune in?
It's
the PC gamer maybe is not as big as, the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to find... the Sony does a PlayStation 5 unveil and everybody talks about it. The PC gaming show happens and everybody goes, the what?
You had a listener remind you that it was on Saturday. You weren't even getting stuff pushed at you.
I forgot.
And he's a PC gamer.
That it was happening. So I set a reminder on my phone when I got that text, and then I tuned in on Saturday, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't great.
Oh, production-wise?
No. Kudos to the people that made it. You could tell they put a lot of work into it. They had to do it. It wasn't live, and so it was lots of kind of strung together pieces and edited, but it was well edited together. Whether you liked the host or not, that's up to you. I was not a huge fan of him, but I appreciated the fact that he
showed up.
He was going for it.
Okay.
You know when you watch somebody's performance and you're like, I don't really like the performance, but I can't fault the fact that they are committed and they're putting in the work.
They're at least trying.
He was trying for sure.
Any PC gaming news that you thought was worth tuning in for? Or
that's the part that gets me. When it was over, I was like,
not yet. Not much news yet.
Guys. I
didn't want you to notice that.
I don't know. I was hopeful. Now they launched, there were a couple of games that launched immediately during the PC gaming show. Torchlight 3. Anybody remember Torchlight 1 and 2 from 100 years ago?
Don't give the list. It's not good.
No, and Persona 4 Golden, which used to be a PlayStation Vita exclusive, is now available on the PC and is currently the highest selling game on Steam.
Okay. Well, there's something. Well, at least you tuned in, though. I'm glad you watched it.
Me too. And I appreciate everybody that texted to remind me. And I appreciate Siri for being there for me to remind me.
So that you were able to watch the PC gaming show on Saturday.
This, to me, was how I knew that it was we're not doing great. I fell asleep watching it.
All during it?
Now, in fairness, I was watching it while laying on my couch. So I was primed
to fall asleep.
That is true, Nikki.
Oh, I'm sorry there was nothing else big out of it.
No. I had hopes. I thought I was really going to get excited, and I was like, well, I guess I would have just watched a movie.
At least they had a show, and you got to watch.
And they got my click.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on RadioU.
So many of us, and I'm not going to point fingers or name names, Obadiah, gained weight while they were in quarantine.
Well, they say it was about 25 pounds, I think, for everybody, give or take some. Some lost, some stayed the same.
I didn't gain 25 pounds. Actually, I don't know. I didn't get on a scale. That was one of the things I did was I was like, you know what? I don't need the extra added stress of
knowing how much you actually did gain.
So let's just put it away. And if we pretend it doesn't exist, then it doesn't have any power over us, fatty. So that's what I did.
Well, I think it was hard if you really stayed at home. Like for us, we still had essential work that brought us into places. But they were saying if you really stayed at home and your job was completely at home, no one was getting dressed in like business wear. You weren't wearing things that kept you aware of your size.
It reminded you like, hey, it's not all a stretchy world you live in.
Yeah, you wore a lot of stretchy clothes, and so you couldn't really tell you were gaining as much weight.
Well, Nikki, I'm looking at a guy in Wuhan. He gained 224 pounds in quarantine.
They were saying for him in about the 5.5 months, they were saying.
They were quarantined longer. At least that's what this article says.
How can you gain that much weight, though, when in quarantine? Do they have food delivery and stuff?
Sure they do.
I guess.
They got to have something.
That's a lot of weight to gain during that time.
That really is a lot of weight. But you know what, Nikki? You and I just got a little judgy there.
It's not for us to say.
So, though I'm sharing this with everybody because to me, when I look at it, I'm like, this is going to make your, 15 to 20 pounds feel downright manageable. Reasonable.
Yes, something you could take care of. Unfortunately, they're saying that he was critically ill due to how much weight he gained.
Yes.
He had to be in the ICU for a week. So he gained... So he was 392 pounds when they started their lockdown in January, and then he gained 224 pounds from there.
So it got to the point that he was no longer really what they call ambulatory.
Sure.
He couldn't move around. And so that's when they had to have a bit of an intervention for the guy.
Well, they had to bring him to the hospital, and now, since he's stabilized, he's supposed to undergo weight loss operation.
Yeah.
So he's 616 pounds now.
Well, we wish him the best of luck. And again, I really am not making fun of him. I just want you to know that the 15 pounds you put on, it's perspective, right?
And if you haven't noticed that you put on anything, not everybody did gain weight.
Good for you.
And that's good
great.
Too. Some even lost weight. And that's great for you too.
Great.
Super, super good.
I do. Okay. Just as a fat person, I love when I hear from friends that are like, yeah, I just lost a bunch of weight. I just couldn't eat. I just whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Good for you.
Some people don't eat as much when they're stressed.
Yeah.
And they're saying how the virus and the stay at home affected you is you either really took notice that you don't eat as much when you're stressed, or you notice that you do like to eat because you got control over that and it made you feel good.
Well, I didn't notice that I like to eat. I just noticed that suddenly food tasted amazing. And I was hungry all the time.
You're like, I just want all of it.
What?
And it was so easy just to have someone bring it to you.
Also, I believe I had thoughts along the lines of, we're all going to die anyway. Might as well have something to eat.
I don't think you're the only one who thought that.
You can see how things like that could be problematic.
How easy it is to gain weight then.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I'll just tell you, Nikki, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the show history, but anytime you hand us a Kit Kat, we're pretty much going to eat it.
We're pretty excited about them. These are the American version of the Kit Kat, unique flavors. So they've had raspberry, lemon crisp, and the birthday cake ones.
Did we try those?
I think we tried...
Birthday cake?
I think so. But we've also tried, some of those have been international flavors for a while.
Right.
So we've tried a few of those just the international way. Okay. This is the American way, and the apple pie one will come out in July.
Oh, that sounds good. Which,
if you didn't know, if you're a Kit Kat, fan, Kit Kats in the United States are made by Hershey. Uh-huh. And then if you go to Kit Kats that are international, those are made by Nestle. So they're different.
They are different. So I wonder which one's better.
Don't know.
Like if we had a Kit Kat America.
Can you notice?
And we had a Kit Kat Europe. Which one would we choose? I mean, maybe the European one has actual sugar in it.
Probably does.
That'll get you. You got to be careful with that.
So if you are looking for it, it is going to be in July.
Yeah. Does it say where?
Anywhere. You can find them at any place.
So what you're saying is that like I could be at a gas station.
And you can find it there, yes.
Filling up, and then all of a sudden I see, oh my gosh.
It's an apple pie.
All right.
It's years and years and years ago, but I had a apple Kit Kat from Japan.
Yes,
and those were amazing. So they actually do an apple flavor pretty good.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to be on the lookout for it. As soon as I find it, we got a show.
So it'll have the apple taste like a Honey Crisp or a Cosmic Crisp, and not a sour type of apple. And then it'll have hints of cinnamon and vanilla, but not overpowering, they said.
Well, certainly not. It's perfectly balanced for you to have the absolute best experience on your palate.
So the wafers will have like the pie crust crunch to it, and then the rest will be like an apple pie.
I'm in. Let's do it.
We have to wait a little longer, but you'll see it starting soon.
Well, you guys know the drill. If anybody spots one, make sure that you let us know where you spot it so that Nikki and I can always be prepared to immediately jump into the junk food mobile and head on over.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Nikki, you might have seen this, but maybe not, which is why it's my sacred duty to tell you now. You'll recall that what was it, 8 years ago, thought the world was going to end on December 21st, 2012 because of the Mayan calendar.
Oh, yeah. Was that the thing back then?
Well, it turns out that perhaps we misread the calendar.
No, there's something on that where everybody who said it, it's still wrong. It's technically...
No, that's what they want you to think. They need you to keep going to work.
No, because
They need you to keep whatever.
That was, everyone was saying how, like, when they changed the calendar, if you change the years, and how technically this is the year that everything should have gone bad and everything has gone bad.
It's not just this year, Nikki.
When is it?
It's this Saturday.
It's this Saturday?
It's coming Saturday.
Oh, well.
So...
I wasn't worried back then, I guess. I don't know if I'm worried now.
It's all going down.
It's all going down?
It's all going down.
Let's not spread the nervousness about that.
No. Why? Let's tell people. Come on.
But it didn't do anything then. And it's not now. It's just, it's just not been a great year. I don't think people need to worry about that.
What, though? Okay, I'm going to tell you, it quote unquote hasn't been a great year. But, read history. Like, seriously, if you read history, it's terrifying, but it would also make you feel a little better about the times you live in, because you would realize we've always been like this.
Well, I think
there's always been a disease. There's always been a thing.
But now with social media news, that's all you hear about. So you're extra worried about it because you're extra informed. And that they didn't have back then.
Right. You're like, 2020 is the worst. And it's like, oh, man, no. Like, there are way worse years in history than 2020. Believe me. I'm not saying it's a cakewalk. I'm not saying that. But there are bad years out there, guys. Really bad. And you know what? We're still here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not, because it was a long time ago. But we're still here. And you and I might not be here. But you know what? A bunch of other people will be. That's kind of a thing. It just somehow we just keep going on. Like, we're a train wreck. We're getting it wrong. There's big messes, whatever. Humanity's still around.
It's always been that way.
Still around. We're the cockroaches of the earth. So just find a way.
They're saying Saturday. Saturday is supposed to be the end of the earth.
You know what I'm saying? Remember how a few minutes ago we were talking about, coming out of COVID-19, losing the weight.
Well, we're not dieting this week then.
Yeah, it's out. Like, I am declaring it a free-for-all food spectacular.
It's a cheat week.
No, it's a free-for-all food fun-tacular.
Oh, that's good.
I want to keep those consonants in there.
Don't tell everybody why we're doing it. Just don't tell them about Saturday. Just let them know it's a free week and it's fine.
Just let them enjoy it. And then we wake up on Sunday, and we'll say, okay, this is the week that we're going to go ahead and get things back together.
Buckle under.
Yeah. That's right. Some of us can't buckle at all. But,
buckling is a privilege.
We're going to get back to buckling someday.
We've lost that privilege because we can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that to everybody. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's going down, Nikki. Let's party.
No, I don't. No.
I'm getting a sheet cake as soon as the show's over.
Oh, you can have it through Saturday?
Well, I mean, I'll need another one tomorrow. It's all going down. Let's eat some cake.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
The single most successful fundraiser in history for a video game.
For a video game.
I'm talking about Star Citizen. Nikki, was it last week? End of last week? They have now raised $300 million.
For the game?
That's right.
For what? Wait a minute. No.
For what?
Because you're probably still having to pay for the game, right?
Okay, it goes like this. So it's Star Citizen. Now, keeping in mind that I don't know that much about it, but there's this guy named Chris Roberts. He made a game called Wing Commander back in the 90s, I think. I made like a couple of those. He made a Wing Commander movie that tanked because it sucked.
Tanked for good reasons.
Yeah, it's not like a mystery. It was so good, but nobody liked it. I don't understand. No, it's not like that. But okay, $300 million they have raised. And one of the ways that they raise this money is that they're making this game, and then you can buy ship packs, which sounds cool. Like, oh, I can have my own ship. That's awesome. Got $4,600 laying around. Last week they were doing a bundle, because you like to bundle. You got 14 ships for about $4,600.
Wow, I'm used to the humble bundle, not that.
Exactly. Name your own price.
Yeah, like what happened to that?
So if you wanted to buy in at the base price and just get the game, that's like $4,500. But did it? Wait. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Stop.
Why?
I'm about to throw all of this.
Out
You're going to
the
not
window?
believe me, but trust me, I've been right up until it's $45.
$45?
$45 for the base game.
Okay, that's better.
It was $4,600. Yes, 2 zeros for the ship pack that they sold last week.
So I was looking online. People don't know why this is done so well.
The only thing I can think is that it's money laundering for drug cartels or the mafia. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Normally I would say, yeah, right. But, I mean, that does actually.
That seems to be.
Seems reasonable, doesn't it?
The thing that
what are they laundering?
Well, the thing that I do keep seeing, though, is that they say that there are a lot of people who grew up playing this guy's games that are now incredibly wealthy because they went into technology. And so they have a lot of extra income and they're just throwing it at this because they like to. And so that's what
is that like?
I don't know. I mean, technically, Nikki, you and I are doing that all the time. We throw money at, cheap Chinese for their $5.99 lunch special.
Wow.
And sometimes get an extra Band-Aid.
So I don't know if you had said this part, but the last 2 days for June, the 12th and the 13th, brought in about $650,000 each day. Just those 2 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Goodness, I'm going to click out of that.
Just close out.
Something.
We need to start selling fake spaceships.
Well,
that's the
going
answer.
back to your laundering thing, that might actually be the only way.
Doesn't it feel like that's what it has to be?
No, it does. It feels like you've got other like something coming in. It just, I don't know.
Something's...
And he feels off, but if not, congratulations.
I guess. And I'll tell you what, if I was running... No, I'd be like, yeah, now we have to have the virtual or pool table.
You mean you want more money?
Did I say pool table? I really just meant pool. But...
Table works too.
Whatever.
You can have that in space.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
There they are.
Yay, good morning.
Good morning.
So how are you guys doing this morning?
Sleepy.
Yes. I feel that.
We always do.
So you guys, the last time we saw you, it looked different. Are you at home and you're just in another room, or are you somewhere else?
Home in a different room. So last time we were
in the dining room.
Yeah. And this is sort of the phase one of what will be the studio at our house. We've got the walls painted, and we've got a desk coming in, and we're going to be putting a bunch of sound treatment in here. And that TV will not... How do I point to it?
There you go.
That won't be there. That'll eventually move.
If you want to hop on to our Facebook page at RadioU, you guys can see where they're at. So you guys can watch the interview there. So does that mean in the future, will you guys just do the writing and sort of beginning recording stuff there? Or do you want to record everything at the house?
I'd like to be able to do at least a solid demo for everything. It's the way that we're finishing our next album is we're taking demos to our producer. He's kind of combing through them with us, and then we'll go back to our friends in Nashville, and we're recording everything live with the band in the room.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's it's not really the way a lot of music is being made today. So that intrigues us. We like kind of being in a room and feeling the energy of our bandmates. So I don't think we'll ever fully finish an album here, but the song that we are going to get through this is with all the vocals were recorded for that in this room. Yeah, so we have the ability to do a lot of recording here, which is cool. So.
That is cool. Yeah. I actually you can tell when you talk to bands when they do that idea of a live recording versus a, single session multi-track kind of thing that they throw together.
Sound
it has a different sound. There's something different there. So that's exciting. So what have you guys been doing? We talked, this is our second quarantine chat.
We talked at the very beginning.
Yeah.
We did. So how have you guys passed the last few weeks?
We had a joke where we wanted to start this interview looking really crazy and then just piling a bunch of stuff behind us. Didn't look like we were doing well, but I think we're doing well. What have we been doing? You've been doing a lot of gardening. I've been mowing the lawn, which is, I know that sounds boring to some people, but that's been so therapeutic. So a lot of yard work. We've still been doing a lot of house projects, right? You've been doing a lot of painting. It's warm here now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of writing for the next Shannon as well. We've both been doing a lot of writing for the next record. We're halfway there, I would say, and it's been good. It's been good.
Awesome. So we've got a new song from you guys.
This is Mike Mains and the Branches.
Going to premiere here on RadioU in just a couple of minutes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the song itself?
Yeah, so this one came one morning. Shannon and I were having coffee, and I was sitting in the living room thinking about everything that was going on, trying to figure out a way to frame the scenario with light at the end of the tunnel. And it felt like I had to just be honest, at least at the beginning of the song, and about how hopeless it felt. I think the first few weeks of quarantine for us were great. We're going to eat pizza every day and sit on the couch. And believe it or not, that got old.
Yeah.
So just hearing about friends losing jobs and people struggling financially and trying to figure out how to take care of their families, that was weighing on both Shannon and I, and we wanted to give words to that. And so I sent it to our producer, and he loved it, and we finished it together, and the rest is, as they say, is history.
Well, it's amazing. I feel like I always tell you guys, but you have to be some of the most talented songwriters we have for all the bands that we play, because it just speaks exactly what people need to hear at that moment. And I'm sure this is just going to be another amazing Mike Mains and the Branches song on RadioU, because you just can't help but love what they're saying in it. So I always gush about their songs, but this is just another amazing one.
They're all good, Nikki.
Nikki, they've got a live feed to you and your life, and they're just what exactly is it? What does Nikki need to hear right now?
Well, it's not just me, but, we hear from so many of our listeners, and it's been such a tough year for a lot of people, and everything that they say, this song is just the perfect response back to those people. So I know a lot of people need to hear this all the time.
It's worked for us because we've been data mining everyone, and that's really given
that's how you do it.
We need to know how to write.
Well, keep doing it. You're doing it right then.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
It has been a time, and I've commented on it some. I made the foolish mistake of mentioning it online. because, everybody's so angry online. But, I think it's a good time in our history and just in the world. And I think that it's always been a good time. We're just, as a society, happen to be there. And that is to listen. Like, it's a good time to listen. There are people that are, we're talking a lot about racism, institutional racism, lots of different things. Some of us would say, well, that doesn't exist, or that, there's just a lot going on. People are very passionate, and I think it's a good time for us to listen. The thing that I have been thinking about, though, is that doesn't necessarily mean that I have to listen to everybody all the time. Learning takes time, and listening takes time. You want to listen? Take some time and chew on it, understand it, and then, maybe then you have something to say. I think most of us are listen for 5 seconds.
And then saying a lot.
I've stopped listening and I'm just formulating my response instead of actually listening. And we do that in conversations, and we certainly do that online. We do it with shows, just anything and everything. We're so busy formulating our next response that we've stopped listening. And the other thing I would tell you, I guess I'm actually saying 3 things. We need to listen and actually listen. I think it's okay for us to be selective about what we listen to. There's an idea that when we go online, I have to listen to every single thing that every person is always saying. And you know what? That's going to lead to complete madness. Your brain can't handle 2,000 opinions a day, especially 2,000 screaming opinions a day. Find some people that you trust. If it's somebody in your circle that you need to have conversations with, go to somebody that's in your immediate circle, or find an author or a pastor or a personality or whatever, somebody that you trust, somebody that you think is going to feed you truthful things, and listen to what they have to say. And then, you can do something about it. But for me, well, I guess the third thing I would say is don't be afraid to turn it all off. It's okay to stop listening for a while so you can think. Now, a lot of people immediately are like, stop listening, you're the worst person. I didn't say forever. I meant like for an afternoon. Like, you might hear something and your brain might need a chance to process it. And it's okay to give your brain a chance to process. That's part of what's so hard about what's going on right now, is that not only like we're pretending to listen, but we're not really listening because we're being bombarded by thousands of opinions at once. You can't listen to 1,000 voices at once. We stop listening and we're certainly not thinking. And so you got to take some time and chew on it. And then sometimes you just have to take a break because your brain's like, I can't.
It needs it.
I can't hear anymore. I'm dying in here. Give me a break, will you? Give it a break. So don't be afraid for your own mental health to take a break, to maybe limit some of your input and take some time to think. That means turning everything off and sitting down like Pooh in his thoughtful spot. Think. There's nothing wrong with that. Take a little time.
The Riot RadioU.
Nikki, Under Armour.
Yeah.
The sports company. They make a lot of things that will wick your sweat
right on away.
Wick it out.
Yeah, they'll show all your muscles. It's not a forgiving fabric, it seems like.
No, it is really not.
It's tight stuff they wear.
It's really not. Like, I would prefer it if you looked away.
A looser fabric, perhaps?
Look away, please. Thank you. So they unveiled on Thursday of last week, I didn't even hear about it until yesterday, the UA Under Armour Sport Mask. And so the idea is that it is a cooling fabric that's treated with antimicrobial technology, and it is designed to be worn while working out and enable you to breathe better, but stay healthy, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, not just for working out then. It seems like that would have been a good choice. Since a lot of people who have trouble breathing with their masks on, this might have been another alternative.
Man, I was out yesterday. I bought a cloth mask from Red, the band, and it was awful. Like,
because it's hot and muggy out.
I was just like, my face was sweaty. I had a hard time breathing. It seemed like no matter where I put my glasses or my mask, I was getting a little bit of fog and all of those kinds of things. So I would have been game for this. Now, it's $30, which I don't think is actually bad.
No, I mean, it doesn't cost them $30 to make it.
Certainly
We're going to be honest about that, but that's what they're selling it. It doesn't matter, though, because it sold out in just an hour. So.
It did, so you can't get one.
Can't get one right now.
There is part of me, though, that is a little off-put by the fact that we're going to start making masks that are somehow fashion statements.
Well, we already have become that.
We already have. But there's a difference. There were the fashion statement mask. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Status symbols. That'll be the better one. Like shoes. Oh, yeah. You know what? I got some of those Under Armour masks. I'm dead stocking them. I don't even wear them. I just put them up next to my shoes in my room.
That's probably what people will be doing with some of their stuff.
No.
Now,
That's not what they're for.
It has the moldable nose thing, which restricts airflow to the eyes, so it should not make your glasses fog up. And the difference, which I think...
don't wear my glasses while I work out.
So it's not a big deal.
So if you ever see me and I'm working out, I can't see you.
So don't feel bad if he didn't wave back.
If I completely ignore you.
Now, this, though, is actually what might be the most helpful part of it. It's not one size fits all. It's small, medium, large, extra large to 2X.
Oh, yeah, I'll take that.
There are sizes which might make it more comfortable, which is maybe why we don't like certain masks that we have to wear now.
For the big-headed person in your life, the 2XL mask from Under Armour.
Perfect.
Yeah, I could use something like that.
So that is from Under Armour, but yeah, they sold out it took an hour to sell out.
I mean, that mask I bought from Red, the band, just cloth, $15.
Yeah.
Like, this is like next level, like super cloth. $15 more.
So is that worth it?
I don't know. Like maybe it is.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, I see here a write-up in the Hollywood Reporter, but it is, in fact, all over the place about New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. Mm-hmm. Because you know what he's saying?
What is he saying?
I will shut this down.
Oh, is he threatening?
I will turn this city around.
Because people aren't following the rules that they still have.
Yeah.
New York being the most hardest hit area, probably, you could say.
I think that's
so they
fair.
still under some bigger rules than maybe other cities and states are.
Stricter. And, people are packed into New York City pretty tight, right? I mean, come on. It's pretty tight in there. So he is saying like, hey, okay, here, let me give you a quote. We are not kidding around with this.
Okay.
Does that sound like your dad? You think I'm joking? You think I'm kidding around?
Now I can't unhear that, and then it's going to be like Dad's.
He says, you're talking about jeopardizing people's lives. So he, along with, what did I see? Dr. Fauci over the weekend was like, yeah, I mean, you might have to do some things. And then I just kept seeing people like making statements like that. I almost feel like they're
threatening it back again?
They're revving it back up. Probably just a threat. Probably. But they're revving, Nikki.
Now, he said that they were threatening for New York City and the Hamptons, which is where a lot of people in New York go to then.
All the time.
They hit him on both sides of saying that they'd be having stricter restrictions back.
Stricter restrictions. Strictly, you're going to be all locked up.
Strictly restricted restrictions.
That's
yes.
right. That's right. So I can't take it. I can't go back in.
I know.
I have to. They'll probably make us, but I can't.
No,
what do you think?
No,
what do you think they're revving up? No, they will. It's gonna. I'll tell you when it's coming. September, middle of September. They'll be like, all right, you had your summer. Back in your hole.
Stop it. They're not going to.
Back in your hole.
Stop. It's not how it's going to be. Let's be positive, all right?
You just don't want it to be that, but that's what's happening.
No, I part of me feels like since some of the protesting and the rioting has quieted down, that now they took away that message during that time, and now they're bringing it back again.
They're bringing it back.
It actually feels like that.
I'm sure you're right. Back in your hole.
Back in your Great. It's not your hole. It's your house. Which after how many months of quarantine just felt like a hole.
I've been dying to be here and I hate it here.
Okay, so that's Obi's vote, and Obi's vote is no for going back in the hole.
Can't make me. You can't.
Just don't think about it today, okay?
Your dad's like, try me, son.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported Radio U.
You know what I did this weekend? I went bike shopping.
Yeah. Do you know why they're not bikes there?
Why?
Okay. You know, Walmart isn't stocking a lot of stuff. They had that for the last several weeks because of the looting. And so they won't stock a lot of items in store so that there would be less stuff to take.
Yeah, but okay.
It's the same thing with like their TVs.
I understand what you're saying about that.
And that's across the board.
Have you ever tried to retrieve a bike from one of those bike racks? Have you?
You can't find a bike anywhere.
Because I'm just going to tell you right now, the idea that you have to be concerned that someone's going to steal one of those bikes
they can't go in and get
is
them?
patently absurd because it takes 3 employees plus you working in unison against OSHA rules to retrieve a bike
from
one of those things.
Well, it is technically...
I mean, there are people at Walmart who are missing fingers because their job was to get the bikes out.
There's technically 2 parts to it. If you go back to the COVID stuff, people started buying switches and then things to keep people busy. That includes bikes. That includes sports equipment. That includes pools, outdoor stuff. Like, you just cannot find that stuff right now.
Right.
And then no one wants to stock it right now just to keep less things in there. So it's very hard to find certain things.
Well, they don't exist.
Bikes included.
I just happened to be there for something else, and I was like, well, I'll drop by and see if they have any, assuming that I would probably find a girl's small bike that I would not be able to purchase.
With a pretty princess
something,
on it, yeah.
Something. And when I walked into the bike area, and they were like, no, you don't understand. We don't have any
I saw your
bikes.
picture. It's empty.
It's empty. And it's like, well, right. I know you don't have any bikes, but show me the bikes you have. Mm-hmm. Sir, you're not getting it.
They want you to just buy it online.
They do. I'm not buying a bike online. I at least need to see it first.
Why not? It's going to be the same thing, especially if you know your bike size.
No, yeah, my bike size. That's something I keep in my back pocket. It's like my shoe size. A lot of times it's a 10 and a half. Sometimes it's an 11. I don't know.
Is it a vanity size? Are you going to pick the wrong one?
Could be.
You know which one you are.
Could be. No, I don't.
Well, you look up the size chart, and that's how you find out which bike you're supposed to be on.
I just give up. Forget it.
And Obi doesn't want to spend much. So, like, you can go to bike stores. Yeah, he doesn't want to go there.
That's the other thing I love is people are like, you get what you pay for. You should go get a nice bike. Look, I'm not starting my lifelong journey towards being a triathlete. I want to bike 3 miles on the weekend so that I'm lazy enough after that to watch TV all weekend. I'm not looking for a life-changing moment. I just want a bike.
Well, you can't find it now.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have it. You're not
getting it.
Nobody can have them. Nobody's allowed. Get back in your hole. Right?
Is that the statement that will happen with every topic that we talk about?
No, it's just about outside things.
Well, Tim was saying please
just
support your local
things.
Bike shop, but those are so expensive. Those are local prices.
Hey, you know what?
That's a craft bike, like we called it. It's a lot.
Tim, God bless you, bro, but
ours are very expensive around us, and we have a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they have some sales going on, though. Maybe it is worth checking out. They maybe have a return. Refunded one or something.
We can get you in a nice bike for only $2,300.
Yeah, those are more like $800 to $1,000 for the basic ones.
If you'll come in, we're going to custom craft this bike to your size, which again is awesome. Don't get me wrong, that's amazing.
You just want a bike that you could use and then not feel bad when you don't use it.
I want a Huffy. Right?
Yes, I know what you want.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
I'm bitter. I drink bitter things, and I spread bitterness wherever I go.